been in the program for a year, shame on you. Shame on you.
I got a question regarding the going in cap rate. Now, let's see, with the tenant improvements and the leasing commissions for the first year, is that considered in that number?
What do you mean?
Because when you add that to the operating costs, it brings down that first year's income quite significantly.
Okay, so one thing is NOI and the other thing is cash flow. And so if you're asking me the question, do TIs and commissions that you incur in the first year as you're renewing leases or you're signing new leases,
Do they apply?
is that impacting your cash flow? Absolutely. Is that impacting your IRR? Absolutely. Does it impact your NOI? No.
Okay.
NOI is what?
Net operating income,
Which is comprised of
operating expenses,
and subtracted from?
your revenue.
Okay, so does it have CapEx in there? Okay, since it doesn't affect NOI, does it affect your cap rate?
Okay.
I'd argue no. There are some people out there that would impact the cap rate by it, but
Well, yeah,
I don't drink from that cup, but there are people who would do
I
that.
looked at them both ways and it wasn't. It was bad.
If you were to ask me, okay, I saw floor plans. Some people were industrious enough to find floor plans. Some people found floor plans from other buildings and put them there. I don't know why, but they were there. I sent a lease rollover summary. Some people put it in different ways, but nobody commented on it. Was it good, bad, or indifferent? What did it mean? What did it mean? Did I have certainty of cash flow? Did I not? Did I have opportunities to market or not? Was there significant downside risk if lease didn't roll over? In what year was that? So there was no analysis on that. It was just like, okay, here's the rollover. And again, when I say, yes, I sent you a memo, there was a discussion and a meeting with that memo. Okay, so again, what's the summary on that typically? Depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for huge upside, you want a lot of rollover now. So there's risk associated with that. You want stability of income, what do you want? Very well, yeah, you want rollovers 10 years from now. Not a lot of upside. Okay?
So I guess a lot of those assumptions for the CapEx expenses were coming from that lease rollover.
The CapEx assumptions that I sent you all came out of Argus, and they were all thrown off of expected future rental operations, which were leasing dark space, or renewing space, or renewing existing space partially, and then leasing new space after a dark period. So it was all tied to future leasing activity.
How do you get like guidance on how to really develop, you know, that August model and those assumptions? Is it just a matter of
That's
experience?
practice,
and
man.
learning?
That's experience. That's time. That's time. If you were to ask me, no one asked me, but if you were to ask me what I think that building is worth,
What would you have answered?
thank you for asking. Broadly, my answer to that would be that that building should probably be worth
22.5?
without underwriting, just off the top of my head, I should expect an unlevered IRR what, 8 to call it 9%. I would expect a levered IRR of 13 to 15%. I would expect to be able to put about 70% debt on it at about 4.5%. And I would expect to pay somewhere between 21 and 23 $million.
This is the answer you would have gave us if we were.
If you ask me, if I'm walking down the street, that's what I would tell you, without looking at anything else. Oh wait, what was I say? I didn't see anybody do real credit analysis there. There were a couple of comments, hey, I got a couple publicly traded companies. Radio Shack's publicly traded. Sears is publicly traded. That doesn't mean anything. What's the credit rating? Okay, I think I had one person actually gave me a Moody's rating on AA, but they didn't tell me what that rating meant. I mean, it could be junk. Wasn't junk, but anyway, that's what I would tell you. I would think that building should be worth. And most of you went and saw what it actually traded for, or what you think it traded for based on public records. So I would prefer you refrain from that. So any questions? Any questions whatsoever on this case?
I have one more question.
Yes, sir.
On the NOI, should we be using, what was there, or what was in like the projection for next year?
Okay, so a building is valued, it's a good question. An annuity is valued, essentially, if I gave you $1 million today, right? What's it worth in a year? If the interest rate is 10%,
1.1.
right? Right. So, the value of the building of $1.1 million is predicated upon a cash flow of $1 million the previous year at a 10% return, okay? So to your point, you use the current cash flow to value essentially what is an end of period value. So you don't use the next year's cash flow to value the building today.
Use the current stated NOI.
That's correct. Yes, Mike, go ahead.
Have you seen maybe a shift of what you thought a return would be for a value add or opportunistic fund now that it's getting harder to get yield? I mean, at 8%, is that kind of standard, or I mean, is it, you got to get to the mid-teens to even be categorized as that, as a value add or opportunistic?
Well, that's a good question, and the answer is, you figure that you would have, and I have not, and I have not seen. So typically, all these funds would have a, some sort of preferred return, and you'd figure preferred returns would come down. And you see still preferred returns in the sort of 8.5% to 10% range, which is far outside what, again, treasuries are. And so, the answer is no. People still have those numbers in their mind, even though the prevailing interest rate environment would dictate that there, would be different. It would be different. No other questions? Okay, with that, can the three final bidders take a sheet of paper?
Oh, I got you. A whole bunch of extra sheets I added to this folder for no reason apparently.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna get a quick drink of water.
You need a cup? I normally do, I don't know where it is.
I'm just gonna put it in my file cabinet when I get
I
home.
know, but I always have it. It's bugging me that I can't find it.
I'll just sit there and like it.
I'm so proud of you. You're like becoming an adult and everything.
Oh yeah, I took I went and got
Don't make me
little
punch you.
books.
What are you about to say?
Some little books for my next set of classes and stuff. Class, like little notebooks.
Oh, like the flashcard books?
No, like little notebooks. About this big,
Why did I pick?
probably with like.
Yeah, I like the whole thing.
Why did I pick?
Cause I realized that when I bought a big 5-star.
Oh yeah, it's a waste.
Pointless. So I went and got, it's still five star, but
The little
it's like
skinny
the little
ones. The
ones.
100 pages.
It's like this big with 2 subjects in it.
Gotcha.
It's like that big. So that, as I'm taking notes and stuff. Like I've actually had these books that I've been writing in since I started undergrad.
What needs to happen for me is, because I did that,
And even this is from a class I took in my undergrad.
I'm gonna go through and consolidate all my notes.
I used to use this book when I had to write term papers and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like how I take notes and stuff. Biomass energy, like BS, biofuel future.
Yeah.
That was the name of a paper that I wrote. Biofuel versus fossil fuels. A topic that I wrote about physician-assisted suicide.
That's very nice. I think that's really
I was actually that was the topic of my paper actually. Yeah, you want me to?
Tell my friend Mark, just let me see it.
You know how much of it? 200,000. Oh, I put my decimal place in
I didn't do that, no.
Oh, who's that?
That was Maria.
You let me give you the back of my hand. I want to beat your ass before you get to the camera.
I run into
Oh, I'm in the ladies' room.
I'm like, expect to tell people.
Okay, class. Class.
Embryonic stem cell research. I used to write about it.
Sounded like a.
Class. That's.
You sound like my mom. The Jewish principal.
Okay.
You got me to come be your Vanna White, read them out?
It's like Price is Right, $1.
Price is right. How close are they?
Who do you get graded on works? Kids that win. Kids at 30 million.
We're getting graded on if you were chosen to read
Yeah, everyone got an A that you picked.
Everybody else got an F.
Oh wow, that's rough.
Okay.
I can't afford
Maybe
that.
some of us didn't want the property. We were
Aha.
just forced to bid.
Hey, everybody, focus. Mark, come up to the front of the class, please.
Go, Mark.
Look, my book.
No, go to the front. So, Mark, Dylan, Frederick, we're all part of the investment committee of the building owner, and we're gonna sell this. No, don't hide. Come out here. So,
Lie down.
let me ask you a question. You'd like to buy this building?
Yes.
What's your source of funds?
I have a in-place loan from Bank of America.
Don't tell me, tell them. What's the LTV on that?
Well, we first looked at 65%, but they gave us an opportunity to increase it to about 75, so.
So you can go up to 75, and you have a firm commitment?
Yes.
Okay, what's your experience?
My experience is
How many other buildings do you own?
do you want me to tell you the truth or? Well, we own about 5 other office buildings in the Miami area, and we've been looking specifically at Coral Gables to begin acquiring more assets there.
And your source of equity, I mean, you guys have the other 25% that's readily available?
Yes, we do, and we have, you know, we're part of a private equity fund that helps fund some.
And how much is unfunded in that community? How much do you have committed and unfunded in that fund?
We have about 300 million.
You have 300 million available, so
Yes.
you can get to this without any
Oh,
problem
yeah.
whatsoever. Okay. And what is it that attracted you to this building?
Well, we saw that, like I said, we're starting to focus on that area, and we feel like it you know, it sort of goes into our vision and our goal of looking at more value-add properties.
So what's your going in cap rate? What do you think the cap rate is you're paying for this?
I am close to about a six cap now.
You're close to a 6 cap, and you feel comfortable that that's gonna make your investors happy?
Yeah, I think so. I think when if you know, based on what we see in the market and, you know, I think that's fair.
I mean, we don't know you. Do you have any references? We have no idea
I
who
do,
you are.
I do. Terry Stiles is a very good friend of mine.
So I can call Terry,
Oh, yeah, you'll definitely vouch for him.
and he'll vouch in a positive way.
Absolutely.
Do any of you have any questions? None of the other bidders have questions. You guys have any questions? None? None whatsoever. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for spending money on diligence on this. Dustin Anderson,
Yes.
please, come on up. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are.
Hello, everyone. My name's Dustin Anderson. My father's Sam Miguel.
How did that happen?
We're self-funding this project. I'm from a family with a lot of money.
Family money, that's good.
Listen, let me ask you, what is it that you like about this building?
I just love Class B buildings and Coral Gables. No, I like the market. Coral Gables is a solid office market, and it's a market that we're looking to get into.
Why is Coral Gables so important?
It's just, that's what our investors want to see. They want to see a good, solid submarket, and they're really interested in South Florida.
And your source of funds for this?
Cash,
Cash.
cash,
So this is family money.
family money.
Okay, and then we can call someone to validate this?
Call my dad.
You have any issues with the condition of the building? I know you're the mold king.
Yeah, well, you know, we are concerned, but we looked at the property inspection report, and I think that's reflected in our price.
All right. Any questions?
Yes.
Why didn't you dress the part? You're wearing
I
slippers.
just got off the cruise ship. Going fishing.
You go fishing.
What's your going in cap rate?
It was at 6.5, but I think that might be incorrect based on those numbers. But I just did the recalculation, 6.5 with an IRR of 8.79. So I think that's pretty much my threshold.
Okay, thank you.
Unlevered.
Still have-
Oh,
Mr. Coolidge.
go ahead, sorry.
What's it like to have Sam Miguel as your father?
It's been an interesting
Amazing.
experience.
Dylan, you don't want to know that.
How much
It's
fun.
a-
Family fun.
There's a kid that lives a couple doors down, and the kid's a mess, okay? He's a mess. So he tells me, I drove him to the football banquet the other day. His mother calls me to find out where he is. So I call him. She disconnected his phone. So she's calling me to find her kid. So I'm like, I'm not dealing. I don't have a wife. You can't tell me what to do, okay? You know. So anyway, I drove over, the kid's there. I'm driving, and he's telling me in the car, Coach, I really want to quit smoking, dude. I can't, like, it's the weekends. I just, you know, you don't live with my mother, man. I just, you know, so whatever. So, you know, we had that's kind of shape he's in, you know. So he says he's going to give up smoking at the beginning of the year, maybe. But a few months ago, his mother was going to send him over to the house to live. And I said, no. I said, I didn't say he could come live, I said, if you're gonna throw him out, he needs a place to stay, he can stay for a day. So then he came to me and he goes, did you really say I could stay at your house? I said, I don't think you'd survive a few minutes, because it would be, make your bed, no television, no
Military
video
style.
games, you cook, you clean dishes, no phone, I need to know where you are, you need to be home at 8 o'clock, up at 5.
Up at 5 to read the
Has to read the Wall Street.
Wall Street
Listen,
Journal.
you got a kid that's got problems, there's only one way to straighten them out. You gotta keep them busy. Gotta keep them busy.
Just a quick question. You wake up at 5 every day? That's how you get all 4 papers in?
This time of year, I've been getting up closer to 6:30.
Oh,
Yeah, I
shame
tend-
on you.
Yeah, 5:30 maybe is probably more.
And you go to bed at like 8? I'm trying to do the math.
9:15.
Oh, you go to bed early, that's why.
You have to, you can't get up,
No.
Can't burn the candle at both ends.
Yeah. Dustin's going,
I have to.
dude, Dustin's like,
Changing my dad.
You're changing.
Alex, what do you like about the Coral Gables market? Why do you like our building?
It's right up our alley. We own a number of office buildings in the Miami area, and we feel like growing into the Coral Gables market, it's definitely growing.
Where do you see rents going in the market?
Definitely north. I think there's a lot of opportunity with that property right now because it's marked with some of the longer term leases under market. So we're in it for the long haul. We want to own it, and when the value's there, when the tenants want to roll over, we want to mark those leases to market.
What's been your experience with other buildings? I mean, what do you guys do as owners? What other buildings do you own?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's, I think, where we're going to bring some value also is because we property manage a group of our buildings, and we add a lot of value there. So we actually think we can operate that building a little more efficiently than the current property managers. But we own and operate a number of about 1.2 million square feet of office.
So what kind of debt do you, where are you gonna get the funds for this?
We liked putting on a lot of leverage right now with the rates as low as they are. So 80% with a CMBS loan is where we're at, and that's going to maximize the return.
And your equity?
We're going to fund it in-house. We have a strong cash flow from the other properties that we own, so we're going to just roll that into this property.
You're close to the other guys. You're what, like $217 a square foot? You don't think you can push up a little bit more on that? Tell you what, you think you might get the deal at $220.
Is it on leasable square feet?
Well, do the math.
Well, on my bid, I put in there I'm using 108, what was in CoStar as the leasable square feet.
Dude, you gotta get to $23,750.
Mine's about to expire.
All right.
No comments from the peanut gallery.
Good job, Dustin.
You should put a shorter fuse on there.
28,750 would close it.
Close it right now.
I think that would make it work easily. Over 10 years, that can.
You don't need to check with anybody?
Nope, I'm ready to sign.
Ready to sign. Any questions?
Where'd you get the fancy socks?
I haven't done laundry in a long time. I'm running low. You don't think you're overpaying? I don't think I'm overpaying for the unlevered return of 7.5% with a levered return now of close to 18% with 80% leverage. I think that it's a solid investment, even as a Class B office.
You're not worried about American Airlines, 25% of the tenant base expiring?
I'm not. I'm kind of hoping it might be a decent day if they did leave, and gives us an opportunity with the market being a low vacancy. I think there's a lot of opportunity that other tenants would want to get in there.
You said you can run the building more efficiently. What exactly are you planning on changing?
I'm going to review all the contracts, specifically the janitorial contract, which is usually, the wear and tear on the building and keeping it clean and keeping the tenants happy, and that usually drives, what people want to pay. So we have specific janitorial companies that we work with, and they use special cleaning products. And
And that's a big chunk of the operating expenses right now?
that and the property management fee itself. So by owning it and having our own property management group, we can basically cut that overhead to whatever we want. Or whatever the IRS lets us. It's like 2% or something.
Any further questions?
So if we kept the property and just allows you to come on as operating manager, would you do that?
Yeah, I would charge like 4%.
Good answer. Okay, thank you.
Like 4%.
Thank you. So, do you think we have a winner?
We haven't seen their bids.
Do we have a winning bid?
I would assume so.
Don't know what their bids are.
Okay, this is San Miguel votes, okay, so I'll take a popular straw vote. I'll do like one of these Iowa caucus things. I won't even turn around, I just want somebody to yell the numbers out, okay? How many votes for Gulick? Raise your hands and somebody call it out.
1,
Oh, is
2,
this an investment committee vote?
3. We got 3 for
Got
Gulick.
3.
3 for Gulick.
4
for
for
Gulick.
4. Dylan, I didn't see him.
4 for Gulick.
I'm saying it's too short.
Branker.
1, 2, 3, 4.
5.
5, 5, 5.
6.
Tyler, 6. We got, what's his face in the back? Daryl.
You know what that is?
Dustin doesn't have any by math. No. Dustin?
Dustin. How many times are you allowed to vote?
1.
Okay, so Mark, put your hand down.
No,
1,
I voted for that.
2.
How could you vote for anybody but yourself?
Dustin voted for Mark.
That's why I voted for him. That's what we do, we vote for each other. We got an arrangement.
Missing one.
Group X just went
Who
down
didn't
the line.
vote? I voted.
Group X all about Mark.
That's so loud.
Good
We
looking
stick
out.
together. We stick together, regardless of what happens.
Ali voted for me?
Yeah.
He did.
Got you, man.
Would be good, right?
Everybody in Group X voted for Mark.
San Miguel votes for Alex Gulick. Wins the property.
What were the price bids?
What is your?
The other ones were 23-1 and 23-405.
What was Alex?
You made me overpay.
That's why I asked you.
You could have said, no, we're really, you could have said, no, that's where
But
we're,
it wouldn't have killed the deal if that's.
it would have killed the deal, yeah, but I was messing
Paying
with you.
you.
He had a bid at 23.5, I just got another 250 from him.
Yeah, you did.
He baited you.
That's how it works, huh?
Of course that's how it works. You get the highest bidder and you tell him that he's not quite there, he's almost there, you need more from him. That's how you
Tell him
work.
you're almost there.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Graduate school.
I want you on my team.
Didn't they do this in undergraduate school?
They did.
Okay, so,
We just played the telephone game.
okay,
They did.
anyway, look, my summary of this is that inasmuch as the time doesn't, my original thought in this class was actually have you take an asset that was actually currently on the market and work during the course of the term in order to value it, underwrite it, and come up with the same, proposal at the end. I've done that before. I think with the way the course is structured now, probably would have been difficult to have accomplished time-wise. So we didn't do it, but this was probably as close as you can, get to simulate. So while you haven't totally underwritten it, and while it isn't totally, real-life scenario, kind of gone through the acquisition of a building. You've taken a look at the major steps that one does in diligence, from abstracting leases, modeling, looking at op expenses, looking at market rents, looking at sales comps, right? Going over a purchase sale agreement, going through a bidding process. So my hope is that at least when you go through it now at work, in real life, you've at least had some, experience in the area, and you feel a little bit more comfortable with the process. Okay. Part of the grading in this class was a team evaluation. You worked in teams in all of the different sessions, and so you will grade your peers. You do not grade yourself. You do not grade yourself. So I'm not going to care what you gave other people. I'm just going to like input the stuff. But if I get a sheet of paper and it's got grades for everybody, then it really makes the process impossible for me. So if I could please just get these graded back, I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. Okay,
Is there a scale?
0 to 10. 0 to 10. You don't need to be overly harsh on your peers. You don't need to be overly generous. If you think people have generally been pleasant, hardworking, have tried to help you, every time you've worked in groups, everybody's pulled their own weight, everybody's been part of the team and the process, then you should grade them as such. If people have been goofing around, people have been goofing around, haven't done anything, they should be graded as such. Okay, so there's only 5% of your grade, but I am giving the power back to the people. So the people can grade from 0 to 10. Nobody, I promise complete transparency, I'll burn these things when they're done. I will summarize them tonight, and I will put them in, but
The only people that we've actually been in a group with?
no, everybody.
Okay.
Everybody in your class, yes. Hopefully by this point you've had interactions with everybody in the class. When you're done, you can fold it and give it to me, or turn it upside down and give it to me, whatever you want.
You don't.
No, don't fold it like 80 times, and I can't. Just bring it
I
up.
wasn't going to. I just knew you'd have something to say if I
Bring
did
it up.
that.
Bring it up. I just want to make sure you didn't grade yourself.
I did that.
I'm not even looking at the numbers, I just want to make sure that there is one person that's not graded in there, yep. Okay.
Better give me a good grade.
I just want to make sure that one person's not graded.
I'm taking a private.
I just want to
Taking bribes?
I just want to make sure that one person is
You want
not
a bad
graded,
contract,
thank you.
You selling behind me?
Sorry? Then that's great, if you think everybody was great, then everybody was great.
I'm in back to
First student, I love everyone.
You love everyone, Mr. Kitson.
We got kosher. We got the kosher food.
Who graded themselves?
The person.
I got it.
Who did it, you?
I don't want to remain anonymous, so I thought I would do it.
You just heard him say not to do that.
No, I didn't.
12.
I asked, but nobody said anything.
Who's been to Bass Pro Shops?
Oh, you're right. That's
I have.
why you
Do they have girly stuff there?
They got everything there. You
Yeah,
buy a
they got
robe
like,
there.
but it's like country western.
I don't need a boat.
They sell fried chicken.
Fast food shops.
When no one's
Just in
looking.
case you're hungry.
When no one's looking.
But just in case you're
Knock
hungry.
you out.
Curry chicken too.
Oh, when no one's looking. Oh my gosh, I promise.
Jerk chicken.
After all the comments you've made this entire semester long, yes, I know it's looking.
Can someone call Fred, please?
Oh, he said to send him a text.
Or send him a text, please? Dr. Fordy.
Go ahead.
Tell him we're wrapping up. We're not done yet.
We heard there'd be curry chicken.
Unfortunately, the way I've been feeling, no curry chicken. Sorry. I don't really feel like eating it, so I can't feel it. Because I get everybody sick cooking it, probably. No, I wouldn't. Okay. Well, we have a quiz at the end of the class, so. Well, of course we're not done. How can we be done if there's no quiz?
Of course we're not done.
Very true.
No, I was reading it said final assignment. I thought that final assignment.
That was a good point. That was a very good point. The email says final assignment.
I love Frederick for these things.
I like the
I was like,
argument.
no, you should give us a Christmas present, no quiz. No?
Give us all 90.
What about Hanukkah?
No.
Give us all 90 in the quiz.
It's all 90.
Help out.
I'll go with it. 100% for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Might be necessary.
On, going back to what we were doing before on the comparables, you know, if you were looking at that building, say in 2011, so what, how would you handle that? Because there's not really, you know, what had traded, maybe it was like really, really
Yeah.
low.
Yeah, by the way, let me
And
pull something up here a second.
I think he's coming.
No, still sitting
Oh, yeah.
here. No, I just.
Because even now with the comparables, I mean, it was easy to find buildings in other submarkets, but
CBRE appraised this building as is at 23,200,000 as complete, assuming that, you know, the repairs needed to be done were done. 24 million as complete and stabilized at 24.3. Now, you know, they've got a much deeper database than we have, right? Let me just check what they pulled up real quick as far as comps.
You're looking at the appraisal, an appraisal?
were they given the purchase price or?
Appraisal.
Listen, that's what, I mean, I said kidding around. By the way, okay, before I forget, on market comps, sales, I'm not comp, rental rates, one thing that was missing was going to,
Sorry.
competing properties. So which are the competing properties to this, and what are they charging? And how much space do they have available? That's one of the things that was in the memo that I circulated around. Okay, because at the end of the day, that is the more direct comparison. Now, to your point, where there is no depth of market, it makes valuation very difficult. When you don't have comps, you know, how do you know if you're paying too much or too little? It's tough. That's really what, you know, ultimately, you know, you got different ways to triangulate to a value. Ultimately, that's where you got to go in and say, hey, I expect to get this return from it, and I can live with that return, and I don't have the validation of what other people are paying for assets that are similar in nature. You know, part of why there weren't a lot of transactions between 2009 and 2011 was in fact because there weren't a lot of transactions in 2009 and 2011. It made the whole process of comparison very difficult, and benchmarking, which banks need, which appraisers need to give to banks so that banks can provide, you know, financing, etc. Okay?
Did Glenn do all the financial modeling and all that for this asset as well?
Yeah. Here, their comparable office sales that they used were all from May 2012 to March 2014. So they took a 2-year period. You can argue whether these are truly comps or not, but for what it's worth. Office in the Grove, 75,000 square foot building on 27th Avenue in South Bay Shore. That's the building where Kaufman and Rawson is, right across from what used to be the Dinner Key Auditorium. That sold for $212 a square foot. Waterford Center in Blue Lagoon sold for $178 a square foot, and you'd say, why would that trade so low? And my only recollection from, because Blue Lagoon is generally a Class A location, really short, they're like 9-foot ceilings in that building. So, just aesthetically, they're not Class A, you can't make that a Class A building. The Century Tower is a building that's on 22nd and 87th Avenue in Doral. That's where U.S. Century Bank is headquartered. It's by where the Intercon is over there, it's right next to the Shorty's Ribs. That's $214 a square foot. That's a 74,000 square foot building. So these people are getting buildings that are 70 to 100,000 square feet. So they're looking for similar sized assets. Concord Center, I don't know this is in Aventura, 106,000 square feet, $192 a square foot. Brickell Bayview Center, 80 Southwest 80th Street. That building's had a lot of different names. It's the one by Lamoon, right where, it's where the Brazilian consulate is, if anybody knows, right next to the Mary Brickell Village. That sold for $245, but that's a 300,000 square foot office building. And that's an office building that wants to be Class A, but it's not in a Class A location. Because it's not on Brickell. It's 3 blocks off Brickell. Now every day that gets closer, but it's not a Class A building. And Douglas Entrance, which curiously they date as having been built in 1927, but you know, it's been totally rehabbed and all that. 467,000 square feet. Curiously, that traded for $216 a square foot. And although it's significantly larger, that was the most recent transaction, okay? And probably the most realistic comp. I'm really wheezing.
At the time, that was the highest per square foot transaction in the.
No.
No?
No.
I thought I remember reading something about that.
No. $216 a square foot, which is essentially what you're paying here. You're paying $210. And the perspective on that is, even though it's significantly larger and it's a $100 million transaction, it's a Class B office building 5 blocks away in the same submarket. So that's probably the closest comp there. Now I went to, why did I go to the comps? What was your original question?
I mean, if you were to purchase this in 2011.
Okay, yeah. I think I answered that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who are completing the program, congratulations. My hope is that you take the knowledge that you've garnered here. I guess there's what, 1, 2, 3 of you that are done? 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Raise your hand if you're done. Okay. hopefully the information that you have gathered is something that will be valuable to you on a personal curiosity level as well as in a professional and financial or compensatory level. Okay, so hopefully from an investment perspective, this in the long run will provide tools and knowledge that will help you reach further. If anything, what the program hopefully is offered is enough in the way of tools and guidance on how to employ those tools in order to get to another level. In order to not be satisfied with what somebody presents to you, but rather how much further you can go. So you've got the ability at this point with the tools that you take with you to reach anywhere you want to within the industry, as long as you stay faithful to those tools, right? As long as from an integrity perspective, you do the things that you need to do. As long as from an intellectual curiosity perspective, you're willing to put in the hard work and the effort that some of the analysis that this industry requires is carried out fully. As long as you don't take short steps along the way. As long as you learn that this is very much a people industry, and it is a local industry. And the knowledge and the ability to transact depends much more on who you know than what you know. And you're willing to participate in the industry groups and in the fellowships and in the associations and to reach out and maintain yourselves close to those individuals that are going to provide that support, that are going to provide the opportunities, that are going to provide for you the doors or the assistance when you go down the line. Mark's example earlier, I'm doing a project I call the broker. The broker has no reason to talk to a student except that one day that student may take a deal to him, you know. Mark went on an interview the other day. It wasn't the right job for him. What matters is he went and met some people, met somebody else in the industry in another area that was doing something different. So, you know, it's not about what you know only, it's about who you know and how willing you are to get out of your shell and interact with other people. It really is a network business. It really is a business of getting to work in a collaborative fashion. I have said on many occasions, it's a capital-intensive business, and if for no other reason that other people are your sources to capital, be they human or be they economic, right? It is by reaching out to other people and having a wide network of individuals that you can collaborate with that you can be successful in this industry. I'm sorry. The fact that you're done doesn't mean that communication needs to end. So, I mean, I stay in contact, as you've seen, with many of my former students, and not only I, but the other instructors in the program, some that you've had recently, some that you've had long ago, I know would enjoy maintaining or staying in touch with you and communicating and opening doors to the extent that we can, providing input or insight to the extent that we can. Okay, so, you know, the door's always open, okay? The relationship is always there. And we're not here for you during the classroom session. We're here, you know, for you for your careers, okay? So from that perspective, feel free to tap into us. Those of you who stay on in the program, well, you've got, you know, this speech to look forward to. Maybe another instructor will deliver it to you, but it should provide some insight to the things that you need to work on or you need to focus on as you move through the program. I can tell you some of you who have come to the program midstream, and I say midstream, after the introductory development courses were done, after the finance and investment courses were done, there's a lot of work that remains to be done. Because, unfortunately, or fortunately, as I say, it really is a financial business. It is a business that requires mathematics, not applied mathematics, but ultimately requires a deep understanding of cash flows and return profiles. And to the extent that we don't understand those, it will severely handicap our ability to move forward in the industry. By the same token, to the extent that we learn how to use numbers and manipulate numbers and make them our friends, we'll be that much more successful. So, eyes open. your next term in January with the finance class and the introductory classes is critical. Critical. So, to all of you, we all, I think, will celebrate something in the next few days. I think all said and done, depending on the faith, most of us on this planet have one God. And so from that perspective, we take the time during the next few days to give tribute to that God and to give thanks for all the blessings that He has bestowed on us and that we have in our day-to-day life. And more important than that, that we take those blessings and share it with those that are most needy. Okay? With that, if you take out a blank sheet of paper, I would be more than happy to share my exam questions with you.
For a split second, I almost forgot about the test. Slip my name. Today's 12, 13, 14.
Ooh, ooh.
I didn't realize that.
While you're doing that, I am going to be gone. I leave Monday. I will not be back till January, I don't know, 5th or something like that.
To Dubai?
No, I'm going to Australia. And I'm not, like, I don't think I'm going to have email and stuff very readily available, so just be patient. If you need to reach me, I'll start looking at emails on the 5th, okay? So
Will we get our grades, I assume?
I hope to have them posted tonight.
Wow.
Okay, so I've done all my upfront work. I've been grading at lunch,
Oh dear.
and I'll grade this quiz when I get home. Boom, go straight to the office, input it into the magic box, go to WebStar. Mary, 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 Mary,
Oh,
Mary.
dear.
Happy New Year to everyone. Okay,
How many
Question-
questions?
6 questions. Question number 1. Question number 1. I need you to be precise with these answers. Precise with these answers. I don't want to hear economic. In addition to understanding the markets, please identify 3 tasks or procedures that one must undertake while evaluating the potential acquisition of a real estate asset. In addition to understanding the markets, please identify 3 specific tasks or procedures that one must undertake while evaluating the potential acquisition of a real estate asset. This is the 5th quiz where you have this question. We've gone through checklists upon checklists upon checklists. Okay, this next one may require just a little bit of imagination. Just a little bit of imagination, but we've done this today. I'm giving you a big hint. What does PSA stand for in a typical real estate transaction? PSA. We went over that today. Question number 3. Question number 3. In a commercial real estate transaction, who typically would pay for title insurance? Question number 4. Question number 4. In South Florida commercial real estate transactions, who typically is assigned the day of closing? The buyer or the seller? In South Florida commercial real estate transaction, who is typically assigned the day of closing? The buyer or the seller? Question number 5. Is earnest money fully refundable? Is earnest money fully refundable? And question number 6. Question number 6. When evaluating a commercial real estate transaction, please identify 2 financial metrics that a buyer may use in his analysis.
Can you repeat that one, please?
When evaluating a commercial real estate transaction, please identify 2 financial metrics that a buyer may use in his analysis.
Repeat number 2, please.
What does PSA stand for in a typical real estate transaction? Thank you.
Dustin driving?
Huh?
Dustin driving?
Yeah. I need to
Okay,
wait
you
till
can
Fred
start
comes
your-
back. Thank you, Dylan.
On the phone.
Oh, you're gonna take it? Oh, okay, okay.
I'm playing with.
You can do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that before like you get sick, you know. Although I'm surely past the contagious stage.
Yeah, man.
Thank you very much for
No,
everything.
no, thank you. That's, it's been, well, 3 semesters or 3 quarters or whatever. No, you gotta, no, hold it up right there. Oh, it's everything.
The thing like, yeah, you gotta be careful with that.
Have a safe trip. Thank you, Maria. Thank you very much.
You have to go through